The moment Bella, a retired canine German shepherd, began growling at the old dresser in the corner of the basement, Sarah felt a chill that pierced her spine. It wasn't just a bark or a casual sniff, this was different. The kind of low, rumbling growl that canine units are trained to release when something was dangerously wrong. Her ears pinned back, her stance tense, her eyes locked on the third drawer from the bottom. Sarah hadn't seen Bella this alert since the day they'd rescued a missing child from an abandoned farmhouse during their final assignment. But this was her childhood home, her mother's suburban refuge. There shouldn't have been anything sinister here, yet Bella wouldn't move. Not an inch. Before we dive deeper into this emotional, suspense-filled journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, or the incredible loyalty of animals, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. These stories deserve to be heard, and your support helps us bring more real-life inspirations to the world. Sarah hadn't planned to stay long. After her mother's unexpected passing, she came back alone to handle messy heirlooms and dusty mementos before the house went on the market. It was supposed to be a quick trip, a weekend to pack and say goodbye. But something about this house pulled at her chest in a way she hadn't expected. Memories swirled around every corner like dust motes in stale sunlight. Her stepfather, Harold, had died 3 years earlier. Officially, of a heart attack. Quiet man. Neat. Well-respected. Polite. But never warm. Sarah never acknowledged what she'd always felt around him, a suffocating unease she had blamed on teenage rebellion. Now, standing with Bella snarling at that drawer, those old emotions surged again. Bella had been Sarah's partner throughout her time with the local K9 unit. Hyper-vigilant, disciplined, and fiercely loyal, she had once sniffed out a bomb in an airport terminal and saved countless lives. When Bella retired, Sarah made her a permanent partner in life. They were tethered together, bonded in ways few understand, the shared adrenaline of rescue missions, the quiet nights after, the comfort of each other's presence when silence stretched too thin. Descending into the basement, Sarah noticed the hum of the fluorescent bulb overhead felt louder than usual, echoing off bare walls. She stared at the dresser, a relic from her earliest memories. Painted pale blue when she was a child, it held her tiny hands when she learned to stand. Now, the paint had dulled, chipped with age. Drawers jammed. Love letters, birthday cards, Hannah Montana stickers, they all lived here once. But the third drawer. Bella's eyes never left it. Growling, trembling even. This was not nostalgia. This was warning. Hands shaking, Sarah opened the drawer. Dust billowed up like a ghost refusing to be ignored. It felt holy and terrifying. Inside lay something heavy. Or rather, a small wooden lockbox heavy with secrets. There were scratches, tiny, random marks and a dark stain that looked like dried blood. Sarah's breath caught. Her heart pounded so loud she wondered if her mother, up in heaven, could hear it too. Kneeling, she pried the lid open. Bella sat, ears forward, unwavering. The contents spilled before them, a tangled collection of bracelets belonging to children long since gone, hair ties in pastel pink and purple, a school ID card from a girl whose face haunted Sarah's nightmares, Lisa Jennings, missing for 22 years. Sarah swallowed hard, fighting nausea. Beneath the trinkets, folded carefully, was a rough sketch of a small town map. There were crude X marks next to house addresses, dates scribbled in the margins. A legend with initials, LJ, TR, MP, and head-chillingly familiar HP. Had it stood for Harold P. Every instinct screamed. Sarah felt dizzy. She wanted to run. To escape. But Bella nudged her, quiet and steady, a grounding presence. With trembling fingers, Sarah withdrew the map entirely, revealing more receipts, parking lots, vacant farm fields. Jenny Reese. Michelle Pratt. And more dates. Missing girls, never found. The world blurred. The basement light flickered. The silence pressed in, broken only by Bella's soft whining. Sarah called the police with numb lips, reading off serial numbers, map notes, every detail. It took hours before anyone arrived. Meanwhile, Bella refused to leave Sarah's side, leaning into her, a protector in fur. By dawn, forensics had arrived. Cameras flashed. Investigators moved with clinical efficiency. They bagged evidence. They uncovered other boxes in the house: diaries, maps, photographs of empty lots Harold had visited alone at night. Maps of local parks, abandoned barns. Digital files on his old computer, watch logs from neighborhood CCTV at odd hours. Everything pointed in one terrifying direction. 2 days later, the headlines broke. Harold Pritchard, once pillar of the community, once Sarah's stepfather, was posthumously tied to 5 unsolved abduction cases. Authorities confirmed the hairy little lockbox contained forensic-level proof: tiny fibers, DNA matches on bracelets, matching prints on the school ID. The map entries corresponded precisely with each disappearance, from Patty Michaels in '98 to Tina Ramirez in '04, to Michelle Pratt in '08, and Lisa Jennings in '12. Sarah reeled. Her world turned upside down. Her mother, she realized, had been in love with a monster. She had died believing him innocent. Statistically, most missing girls from small communities are never found. And suddenly Sarah understood that her mother's trust in Harold might have cost lives. That things the community dismissed as coincidences were cut from a darker cloth. She wanted solitude. She wanted silence. Instead, she got press. Shutter clicks at her door. Reporters asking if she knew the truth all along. Townspeople whispering. Bella became a media sensation, the dog who bared the monster. People brought her treats and flowers. They petted her mane in gratitude. Sarah almost hated the attention, but Bella basked in it, proud. But Sarah took to staying underground. She let the public swirl around her, but she refused to let them in. She spent nights reviewing victim files, haunting old witnesses, haunting herself. She listened to her own recorded statement, to Bella's whine echoing in the background, crisp panic in her voice. He roamed free, she said, tears choked behind her words. In my own home. She began volunteering with local missing person advocacy groups. At first out of guilt, then out of purpose. She sat across tables from mothers who couldn't find their daughters. She traced missing persons cold cases. She trained Bella to assist search parties again, not for bombs or narcotics, but for lost souls. And slowly, her grief gained form. It became urgency. It became hope. 3 months later, during a search for a teenage runaway outside Riverside County, Bella froze beside a neglected concrete culvert by the freeway. Sarah nodded, stepped forward, and followed Bella's nose into a muddy alcove beneath the road. Inside, curled in damp blankets, was a young girl shivering, traumatized, but alive. Felix. 14, blonde, amber eyes like glass. Sarah scooped her up, whispered softly. You're okay. Reunited with her mother, Bella was hailed again as a miracle. Sarah saw tears pooling in the mother's eyes as she collapsed into Sarah's arms. Bella circled them, tail wagging, chest heaving. It was a turning point. The town, once fractured by scandal, began whispering about Sarah and Bella in odd tones, the duo who gave our children back. Sarah changed how people looked at pain. She showed them how broken doesn't mean done, how truth doesn't always arrive in the form we expect, and how a dog's instinct is sometimes truer than any official statement. But healing was never linear. Some nights Sarah lay awake, wondering why she had not seen the truth, why her instincts had been muffled by filial love and denial. She'd dream of Harold's office, cold, book-lined, the door clasped shut. She could smell his aftershave, stale coffee. She heard the sound of the lockbox falling to the floor as she opened it. She woke shaking, tears slick. And Bella would stand guard by the bed, gentle and watchful. Slowly, Sarah built new rituals. Every morning, she and Bella walked through the old creek behind the house, now overgrown. They'd stop where the search that day might lead. Bella would sniff at a fallen log, or stare at a bramble patch. Sarah, mind clear, heart slowed, would ask locals if they'd seen someone missing. She found herself smiling again, calm again. She'd buy coffee at the same cafe and greet people. And when someone asked why, she'd say, because I want to honor what those families lost. And what this dog gave back. Bella would thump her tail. People came to her for solace as much as sense. Nearly 1 year after the drawer incident, Sarah organized a memorial service for the cold case victims. Families gathered in a candlelit ceremony beside a small fountain in town square. Sarah stood trembling before the crowd. Bella sat erect at her side, gray-muzzled now, eyes sharp. Sarah spoke of her mother, of houses with secrets, of her stepfather. She spoke of guilt and forgiveness, of love she'd misdirected. And most of all, she spoke of Bella, of instinct, loyalty, redemption. Tears scalded her cheeks as she pulled the lockbox from her coat pocket and laid it on a velvet pillow. She narrated each bracelet, each school ID, each crumpled receipt. She looked at Bella, her vision swimming. "Without you," she whispered, voice breaking, "we would still be running from ghosts." The crowd bowed their heads. Some sobbed. Others clapped softly. When Sarah returned the box to the authorities, an entire town felt a shift, a weight lifted, a promise of justice. Life changed again. Sarah and Bella moved out of the old house. They settled in a small cabin by the river, furnished with cozy quilts, open windows, sunshine. Mornings included coffee, walks, therapy sessions. Afternoons, Bella's pace slowed, but her spirit stayed golden. In the evenings, Sarah typed letters, case reports, fundraising facts, appeals for missing kids, and Bella rested her head on Sarah's knee. 5 years later, Bella passed peacefully in her sleep, nearly 16, and retired canine legend. Sarah carried her ashes back to the memorial fountain and scattered them beneath the weeping willow. The plaque read, "For Bella, who listened when the world was silent." Sarah knelt, tears hot on her cheeks. She felt Bella's loyalty linger, and she vowed to continue their work. Today, Sarah leads Bella's Way, a non-profit supporting rescue dogs and families of missing children. It funds scent training for K9 units and offers grants for grief counseling. Every year on Bella's birthday, they host a public event in the square. Children, volunteers, police officers, and families gather to plant saplings. They write bracelets on ribbons, just like the ones in that chilling drawer, and hang them on tree branches, each ribbon inscribed with a name, a memory, a promise. And Sarah, in her heart, always hears a distant bark, a familiar growl reminding her to always keep digging, always keep hoping. Because sometimes, it's the ones who won't let go that find the truth. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. Leave a comment to honor the silent heroes, human or animal, who never gave up, even when no one was watching.